Now let's talk about disadvantage a bit. We have, so same thing for advantage, but us being in that position basically. It's not gonna be that long, and not too hard as well. So Bayonetta's Bayonetta has a rather good disadvantage stage. She has strong options that are situational, and what I mean by situational doesn't mean that they're bad or they're rare to use, they're just situational. And she has mechanics within her design that allows her and no other character to do what she does, like Witch Time and Bat Within, basically. So her general advantage, general disadvantage, sorry, and how I see it. Um, Basically, she kind of feels slippery and hard to catch at times, depending if it's juggle, ledgetrap, edgeguard, and so on. She can use her great double jump height, which is like one of the highest double jump in the game, I think, or maybe the highest jump. But her double jump is super fucking high, like really good. So she can use her great double jump height to get out of hard situations. Sorry. Although being one of her most precious resources because you need it for jump cancels and stuff like that. Because yeah, one of the most precious resource for jump cancel, and in her ability to keep her ambiguity up at an all-time high. She also has really good movement based options to keep you think about her resources and how many she has used up to the point she was in disadvantage before, making her extremely unpredictable in general, and even more so against players that have no idea on how she functions. You can abuse that basically. You can use this to force your opponent to comment with an option while trying to catch you or catch your landing, and punishing them or reversing the situation for yourself, and sometimes even killing them. One of the main reasons she feels hard to keep a disadvantage is Bat Within, and Witch Time as well. It's a mechanic that allows her to transform into to herself. It's a mechanic that allows her to transform herself into a swarm of bats after being hit. On the defensive options such as her air dodges, rolls, spot dodge, and her Witch Time. Most of the bats within timing is going to be frame 1, but some of them are not frame 1 but frame 2 or frame 3 depending on the option you're selecting. As iconic and hated it is, to be honest, it is not as strong as people might think, actually. It is not terrible, but it's not free at all because of what I call freeze frames. Basically, okay. A quick explanation before we jump into the rest of the disadvantage. Basically, when Bayo gets hit and on a spot dodge, that's my spot dodge. And this basically, so if I do spot dodge, I'm gonna do Bat Within on the spot. But if I do roll out, I'm gonna go where my roll is supposed to go. Like here. So basically this is how it works. So that's the repositioning thing. So basically you can reposition yourself with those options by doing spot dodge, roll, and that's the same principle with air dodges. If I'm getting hit with like a neutral air dodge, I'm just going to fall down by the same way of mine. Basically it keeps the trajectory of where you're supposed to go, but it just teleports yourself with the animation of being in bats. Same for like air dodge back, air dodge in, air dodge up, like all that stuff. It works the same way. It's just positioning stuff. Also, you can get hits during your recovery when you're air dodging. So sometimes you can just like air dodge and then you want to jump air dodge, and sometimes when like I don't know, Rob does a down air on you and you get hit by the down air during your air dodge, you can get fucked up because you don't have a jump, you don't have a double witch twist, you don't even have an air dodge, and you just die because. And it happens a lot more than you think. Also, the freeze frame stuff. Basically, the difference between Bat Within and Foresight, because with the DLC, Foresight is like a Bat Within like mixed up with Witch Time, which is a lot better by the way. Basically, during her Bat Within animation, she is frozen. She is frozen, and then sometimes you cannot act out of it immediately. And you cannot do an attack. And sometimes that will frame trap you. There are a certain amount of frames. I don't know the specific amount of frames, but there are certain frames where you cannot buffer anything. You have to wait. And there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you're trying to avoid something, you bat within it, but you still get hit because you get frame trapped into another move or into the same move because it's a lingering move or it's multi-hitting. It depends. Oh, sorry. So that's the thing with Bat Within. It's pretty good because it's like, oh yeah, I have a frame 1 air dodge, because if I air dodge and I'm getting hit on first frame, I take half of the damage of the move that I'm getting hit by, and I can also reposition myself and sometimes can counter that stuff and reverse the situation. But sometimes when I get Bat Within, I just use it to reposition myself. You don't need to every single time want to reverse every single situation when you get Bat Within. That's something that a lot of people need to understand and should apply. So let's start with juggle. As I said previously, she can use her great double jump height and her movement-based options such as witch twist, APK, or even dive kick to get out of juggles and to bait the opponent. Like, oh no, I'm getting, ooh, and then you can go back that way because they're running all the way here, and then you can just go back here and air dodge here. They can even sometimes you cannot really juggle her, by the way. She has Nair as a landing option as well. They can be pretty good. Down air is not recommended, but sometimes can be quite surprising. Especially when they're trying to reach you for a juggle and they jump above a platform and they're peeking through the platform. You can hit them and then they get hit by the landing hitbox and they can go fly away. Sometimes they can die. So that has happened before. But you need to be aware of the fact, because with down air is not recommended, but it can be used as a surprise option if the opponent is trying to reach out for you when they're trying to juggle you. And only if you have enough distance to not get caught up during the stalling momentum of down air, because as you can see, I do down air and if I fast fall, all of my momentum is stopped because the down air stops and she does the flip and then falls back again. So you need to be careful about that. Fast fall air dodging also is quite good. It's like a universal technique. and it's also a valid option because you can land safely and quickly on stage, and if you want to go through an upper or something, plus the chance of activating bat within. Also, if that transition into a platform pressure scenario, because sometimes you kind of want to land onto a platform, you just like, boom, I shield, I land and I shield, and then they're platform pressuring you. You need to respect your opponent's pressure. Avoid panic options, such as too early of a jump within their pressure strings, a panic roll, trying to do an option that is not going to hit them at all, so on and so forth. Recognize and learn their pressure pattern, block strings, and mix up to safely and maximize your chance to get out of being platform pressured is also really important. If they go for the same thing, or they have one or two block strings that they keep on recycling over and over again, you know the holes into their pressure strings, and you can just like jump out of that sometimes. So yeah. Now, edge guarding. Bayonetta is one of the hardest characters to edge guard. Period. It's so hard to edge guard her. Even in Ditto, sometimes it's kind of hard. Because her massive possibilities to mix up when you're recovering, and the possibility to get reversed at all time is also very present and very strong. And the difficulty to track her resources, at least for the untrained eye, in my opinion. So when you're recovering and being in an edge guard situation, you need to mix-ups are going to be key for recoveries. You can stall a lot. You can use different things. I don't have a jump anymore. I can do this and a dodge. See that? When catching the ledge, so mix-ups are going to be key to avoid getting hit when catching the ledge, especially by 2 frames or really strong like options to ledge trap with, like Wario's F tilt. Yeah. Especially if they have options to hit you off of the ledge while grabbing or trying to grab it. Especially when something that you should know is that B doesn't snap the ledge anymore. It goes through the ledge, unfortunately. So sometimes you will have to just like here, stall a little bit, and then go a little bit under it, and then jump air dodge, which is a lot safer than sometimes trying to do double witch twist, because here if they had a counter or if they just space out something correctly, you get hit by it and then you're fucked, and that's not good. So I'm just gonna bring Victor further in because we can't see me. You can just like time it and then jump air dodge like that, and also you can also time it your height pretty much like that, but a little bit lower, so like that. That's less risky to get hit by anything like a Paladin or down tilt, for instance. It's less risky and you have a higher chance and you're safer to not get hit. So that's pretty much it. So mix ups and be careful when you're recovering, basically. So now being done, let's go over ledgetrap. Bayonetta Bayo is known for her pressure-heavy, obnoxious options that people don't know how to deal with from the ledge. Like jump ABK, drop down jump fair, which I'll use a lot, but also in a smart way, because you don't want to use only that and get punished by like dash back F smash, for instance, which is like super basic and it's not playing the matchup correctly, to be honest, because playing around options is not a way to play a matchup, at least in my opinion. So, as a general rule of thumb, you being on the ledge is not a particularly good position for people to be in. However, for Bayo, it's quite good. Bayonetta is the exception to the rule, as she should be. And because of her unique options, she can skip over the ledge trap situation. Not for free, like a lot of people might think or say, but with a certain easiness, if I may say. Let's see her options from ledge. So she has get up attack. Get up attack is pretty far reaching attack. I'm gonna put the hitbox visualization, and I'm gonna put Richter here so we can have a better look at them. So get up attack. It does 11.3%. It's a pretty far reaching attack. Pretty accurately shown by the trail as well. Which is pretty okay for a single hit attack from the ledge. It's a frame 24. It's minus 22 on shield, so it's very punishable and quite slow as well. But you can time it correctly when, like, you know, basic stuff against like Inkling charging Hound Smash or stuff like that, basically, or just like when they do something on repeat, and you can time it correctly so you can like punish a landing on something. It's quite good. It sends like pretty far away, to be honest, even at like 0. But you have like better options than this at 0 from ledge, although can be good if you can catch like an immediate landing or something, like I've explained. Roll, it's a good roll. The FAF, sorry, so the first actionable frame is pretty slow, as you see here. It's yeah, it's pretty slow. Just try to run away right after you have stage control. Like if you roll, you want to run, so you can reverse that position and play for stage control, and almost like playing for a corner pressure situation for yourself. Jump, it's pretty good. It goes pretty high. Like no one can punish that so easily. It goes really high up, and it's even higher for double jump. It's so good. Neutral get up, it's somewhat fast. It's from 35, I think. Frame 35, and can act out of it pretty quickly with tilts like that. That can surprise a lot of people. Sometimes I have killed people with just like this, and they were close and it up tilt back here, and they died. And I've won sets with this or just games. So these are her options, basically, like her Smash Universal options. So basically, if you're a beginner, it's really easy to press those immediate buttons because it feels right. And what I mean by those buttons, I mean fair, and I mean ABK as well. Because it feels really good to hit them. However, you're making those options less effective the more you use them, because people will start playing around these options all the time, and a lot of people will just start automatically without you even doing them. They will start automatically by playing around these options, by positioning themselves over here and be like, I want to catch fucking ABK, and then do F smash because they're here, and then do S smash and like, yeah, do ABK, bitch. It's like, okay, thank you, and now I'm back on stage. Great. Like, doesn't make any sense, but okay, sure, why not? So please, when it comes to these options, please be smart about those options. Don't make them your go-to options. When you get ledge trapped, you have many other options that are just as good. Keep them at the back of your mind at all time, because there's a lot you can do at ledge besides those two options. You can do other options like other Bayo options, but also keep in mind you can mix it up with like smash options. If you're getting punished for ABKing, don't fair. Because don't fair, don't nair, or any other aerial based option, because the reason is because all of these options are not I mean, they require a jump to start, and you're not necessarily getting punished for ABK and such. You're just getting punished for jumping, basically. So think about other options that play around what the option is showing you for the ledgetrap, basically. So you can make the roll or just jump air dodge instead, go through them, get an attack. Who knows? Depends on what they're doing. And if they adapt or did they mix up or not, if they shield, and and so on and so forth, basically. So, corner pressure. Let's talk about that since I am in the position to get corner pressured. So it's the same principle as ledgetrap, to be quite honest. You can use ABK or any aggressive options that feel right, but don't make them your go-to. Like fair or ABK. ABK can be quite good, but don't use it like all the time. Overcommitting while being caught in this video can be very deadly, especially if you have a bit of presence on. Use those options for what they're made for. They jump, you ABK them. They dash and dash out, you dash attack to overshoot, etc. and etc. Basically, when you're being in the corner, you need to respect that, and they do a mistake, you punish them for that. You punish them for it, or you use that mistake to just like go over them and use the platforms to go behind them and then do things like that, like that can be quite good as well. You have an answer to pretty much anything. Respect and know your opponent's immediate range, so burst options, if they have one. Dash attack is not really a burst option for everyone. Some characters have a faster, like my burst option is going to be ABK, but my burst option is not the dash attack because it's slower. Palu's dash attack is a burst option, but a not long burst option. It's really good because the shield is like the property of the shield is basically making her, I don't know, really fucking strong and untouchable. So there's that. So you need to play right outside of their range so you can force them to do something and punish them, or take that opportunity and gain backstage control and force them to be corner pressure, like I've shown here, like boop 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 and this and grab them and corner pressure stuff. It's also matchup dependent, and you might be able to double jump a bit above them because their juggle is not as good, and etc. And vice versa, might be able to jump over them because their juggle tools are really good. So my advice would be to be patient, don't overcommit, play outside of their range, and if they don't respect yours, punish them even for the tiniest mistake within your range, especially when it comes to ABK range, like that. Like it's 50% for doing nothing. Like it's really good. So that's it for the disadvantage. That was quite fast. It was like pretty good. And now we're gonna move on to show pressure, which is super important for Bayo, and it's something that I would say like quite passionate about, but it's like something that I've really studied and I really like it. So let's just jump into it.